everyone. Welcome to another KenCast. It's great to see you. Thanks for joining us today. Whether you're watching live or on the replay, whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, or X, thank you for joining us. We should have a fun show today. We're going to go over some news topics in the entertainment industry. I might give you my thoughts on the new Twisters movie for those tornado fans out there who are watching. And then also, we have news about the new Karate Kid. He has been cast. Is it who you think it would be? What could this mean for the movie coming out? Also, we'll go over other news and maybe some reflections on the new Cobra Kai season 6, and of course, your comments and questions live. So, wonderful to have you here. I'm gonna say hello to everyone in the chat. Sebastian, great to see you. AEH, great to see you. Thanks for being a channel member. Hello, Ken. Hello, chat. I'm very skeptical about this movie, which would be the new Karate Kid movie, but the actor playing the new Karate Kid seems to be good. Indeed. And we will read an article about that and have a discussion in a little bit. Jasmine, thanks for saying hi. Had a good week, I would say. Can you talk about Stranger Things another time? And you watch that show? I do watch Stranger Things. Great show. I love it. And yeah, maybe we could have a Stranger Things conversation. I don't think we've done that on this channel before. And if you're interested, if you guys are interested, I think we might be able to do that. Terry Johnson says, hello, good to see you. I still want to know if this movie is an alternate universe from Cobra Kai, or are they in the same universe? It's a really good question. I think here's what we know. We know that John, Josh, and Hayden, who are the showrunners and creators of the Cobra Kai series, we know that they are not officially involved. However, they are giving notes. So, yeah, and again, that's sort of like if the creators of the new movie want to take those notes and use those notes, they can, but they're not officially involved. But the fact that they're offering notes may mean that they're looking to kind of harmonize the Cobra Kai series and this new movie. You would think that because Ralph Macchio's in it, it should share the same universe as the Cobra Kai series. I hope they figure out a way to do that because wouldn't that be amazing, right? If we had future iterations of Cobra Kai, whether it be a feature film or other series, it would be great to be able to maybe use Mr. Han if this ends up working out really well. So I hope it's the same universe. Chris Klotz, how you doing, Chris? Good to see you. Thanks for being a channel member. And Chris is a Cobra Kai fan, but he is also a Tornado fan. And I know some of you watching might be very familiar with my other work in a documentary film with tornadoes. And I assume, Chris, you may want to talk about the new Twister trailer, and we can do that today too. Good to see you, Dale. Thanks for joining us. Jane, hey yo, it's KenCast. Good to see you. It's KenCast. Yeah, thanks for joining us. Gabe says hello. Glamrock Plush Productions, who is the new Karate Kid? Stay tuned, everyone. We will go into that. We'll read an article and figure out who this new Karate Kid is. Maite, buenas noches. Good to see you. Ryan, I was just watching More Than Miyagi documentary. Yes. You know, maybe we should have a discussion about that sometime. There's More Than Miyagi, which is a good documentary, and there's also The Real Miyagi, which is a documentary about Sensei Fumio Demura, who was he was the action double for Mr. Miyagi in the movies, but he was also a real life inspiration for the character. That might be a great discussion as well. Lisa, great to see you, Lisa. That's it's so great to see you guys. Well, I'm gonna open it up to comments, and we'll get into this. But let me. I don't know if it's gonna let me. I had some technical difficulties. Let's see if this will work. Now it looks like it. So I'll just say down in the description, guys, I had this amazing conversation with Drew, the Cobra Kai Kid, but also DrewTube this past Thursday. And we've been working on this new show, the Drew and Ken show, but maybe with a new name coming soon. I'm going to let him tell you all the new name and all the information about that. But it was a great discussion. We talked about the Super Bowl trailers, and we talk about movies and stuff that's like beyond Cobra Kai and everything. And yeah, it was a really great discussion. Check it out in the link below. One of the things we did talk about was the new Twisters movie. So some of you are interested in my thoughts on that and have been. So I don't know, let's talk about it. I think I was really excited to see this because it's been so long since we've had a huge mega budget Hollywood blockbuster movie about tornadoes. We've had some sort of independent movies. We've had some, that have approached the subject from different directions, but this is the first real sequel or follow up to Twister. It's executive produced by Steven Spielberg, and it's, got all the latest and greatest in terms of special effects. For those of you who saw the trailer and have seen my previous work or know the world of storm chasing, you may have noticed that the Glenn Powell character, the tornado wrangler, may have seemed familiar to you. And so that's really exciting. It looks like he is at least inspired by Reed Timmer. So that's wonderful. And some of the tornadoes featured in the trailer were also seemed to be inspired by real life tornadoes that I had the pleasure of documenting. We'll see how it all pans out, but I like that this movie looks to be getting inspiration from real life tornado events. We've gotten hints that that's the case, and yeah, I'm always about on screen celebrations of storm chasing. Hopefully, they obviously do it in the right way, respectful way. There is something in the trailer for those of you who noticed at the beginning where you had the storm chasers running into an overpass area. Obviously, that's not what you should do. And I'm guessing that when you actually see the movie, this will turn out to be the wrong move. It looks like something bad may happen after they run to the overpass to take shelter from the tornado. So that could be addressed in the movie. And then the other thing, which I'm very curious about, is they seem to hint at this idea of destroying a tornado, like launching things into a tornado and destroying it. So I'm interested to see where they're going to go with that. Is this going to be more of a true to life storm chasing movie, or is it going to be more science fiction? Because obviously, that's a very hard thing to do. Would be to chase to destroy a tornado. So anyway, if you have more questions about that, please let me know. Ryan says, "Rest in peace, Bill Paxton." Yes, and Philip Seymour Hoffman. Yes, I two talents that are supremely missed, and all indications are that there is no one from the original movie in this one, and that this one might actually be a separate entity. Twister should be interesting. I remember the first. Yes. Um, yes. Thank you so much. And also, Chris Klotz says, "Bring on the Twisters," and with the super chat. Thanks so much, Chris. Thanks for supporting the channel. Guys, if you are a channel member, finalist, and above, you can join us at the top of the hour for a special video chat among all of us, and we can go into more detail. Chris might be there because I can always reveal a little more in those discussions. Thank you so much, Chris, for your support. That's wonderful. Jane asks, but will it be overly CGI'd and not a realistic representation of tornadoes? I remember the first, the cow and the tornado was done for laughs. Right. Well, if you go back and watch the original Twister, it's actually amazing what they were able to accomplish. That was 3 years after Jurassic Park. So this is very early in the era of CGI. And they did a very respectable job, I think, of trying to recreate realistic tornadoes via special effects. And some of them worked, some of them didn't as much. Like I think the cow, I think it came off as funny. I think some people at the time, I think a lot of people kind of bought the idea of the cow. I mean, if you watch it now, it's it definitely looks like a special effect, but it's an iconic moment in movie history. You can't deny it. I think I would take a look at the trailer, but also keep in mind for this new movie, they've got a lot of work to do. Release date is in July, so there's still probably a lot of work that has to be done with the special effects. There is one that may or may not have been inspired by the May 4th, 2007 Ellis County tornado. It looked like, at least partially inspired by that. Watch my movie Heaven's Rage, my short film, if you want to see that one. That I think looked like the best tornado in the trailer. That was nice. And so I'm sure they'll they'll go for the best special effects possible. Let's see, Glamrock Plush Productions. Where can I watch the next Karate Kid? Ooh, if you mean streaming, the one starring Hilary Swank, I don't I'm not sure. It seems to be on Netflix the most. Um, there's also a very cheap combo Blu-ray pack, of Karate Kid 3 and Next Karate Kid. The video quality isn't the best, but it's good enough if you want to own it. Also, it's on DVD, you can get it there. But I would check Netflix and maybe do a search to see if it's on or off streaming services. I have a feeling that if you can't see it now, it will be available soon, just in the lead up to Cobra Kai season 6. So, Clifford, how are you? Great to see you, Clifford. Uh, yeah. Oh, okay. Morgan says it was on Netflix forever, but they took it off recently. This happens now. We're in the streaming era. That's why, we might have another whole discussion, live discussion with Drew and other Drew Rohally and other people who are proponents of physical media, as am I. Um, because we're seeing this a lot more now where movies are being taken off these streaming services and you don't know when they're going to pop up. If these movies you want to see and keep them and are important to you over the years, I would suggest finding a physical copy, either DVD, Blu-ray, or 4K Blu-ray. Um, and sometimes they have special features. Sometimes it's really worth it. So, um, let's see. Kate Maloney, thanks for joining us, channel member. I pulled a double, man. Oh, good for you, Kate. I'm running late as usual, but I'm here. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. So guys, let's get to sort of the main topic today, which is this news. This news. Okay. And I want to bring this up because a lot of news we go over has to do with the entertainment industry. And we're usually going to sites like Deadline or Movie Web or Variety, Hollywood Reporter, that type of thing. So trade publications. But this was significant enough that it made national news. So this is NBC News that is reporting this. So we have to say that the Karate Kid franchise is a cultural touchstone that has vast name recognition and that this is an important moment. This is big news. We have a new Karate Kid. And so let's kind of go through this article and see what we can learn about this. Hollywood finds next Karate Kid. Ben Wang, best known for starring opposite Michelle Yeoh in American Born Chinese, will take on the iconic role in the franchise's newest film. Ben Wang is the next Karate Kid. Interesting choice. Maybe the new Karate Kid would be a better choice because I think of Hilary Swank as being the next Karate Kid. Wang, who previously starred opposite Michelle Yeoh in the Disney Plus series American Born Chinese, landed the sought-after role after a worldwide search that saw thousands of young actors from around the globe vie for the title role in Sony's new Karate Kid movie, which unites Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio. Per Studio Insiders, Wang delivered a standout audition performance that demonstrated his deep connection to the character. The actor, who's also fluent in Mandarin, is skilled across many forms of martial arts, including karate, Wing Chun, Kung Fu, Gumdo, Kempo, and Taekwondo. Chan and Macchio, who announced the casting search via video in November, will reprise their iconic Karate Kid franchise characters in the latest entry to the series from Sony Pictures. Plot details are still under wraps on the new movie, but Macchio will once again play Daniel LaRusso from the original Karate Kid film trilogy and the series Cobra Kai, while Chan will return to the role of Mr. Han, a kung fu master from the 2010 remake movie starring Jaden Smith. It will be directed by Jonathan Entwistle, creator and director of Netflix's I'm Not Okay With This and The End of the Effing World. Peter Rabbit, scribe Rob Lieber will pen the screenplay, and Karen Rosenfeld will produce. Okay. So I know this is a big topic for a lot of people. A lot of people have feelings about this movie. But the first thing we notice from this is that it looks like that whole casting search, and this is just my opinion, but it kind of looks like that whole casting search announced by Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan was most likely for publicity. You know, it's possible they were looking through all those actors to see who might fit this role. But what did they end up doing? They ended up casting an established actor um, on Disney from a Disney Plus series who's been in a lot, who's not only knows how to act, but also can speak Chinese and understands martial arts. And I kind of always suspected this would be the case. Usually these things are publicity stunts because why would you necessarily cast someone who has no acting experience in for the lead of a movie that's shooting very quickly? So I had a feeling they would always kind of go back to someone who's already an established actor, which, I mean, let's be honest, guys, is good for the movie. You know, you want someone who's a veteran, who's you know, a good actor, and not saying that those people who submitted, and you guys may have submitted, I don't know, are not good actors, but you know, it's probably less of a risk for the movie itself to go through the usual channels. So, yeah, we've got Ben Wang. So the question is, the name of the character, at least so far, is Lee. So that's this new character. On this channel, we've gone through sort of the official story of what we know, which isn't much, except we know it takes place in Brooklyn. And we've also gone through a leaked version of the story, probably an earlier version of the script that talks about how Lee's character was uh, and his mother are dealing with a tragedy or something very impactful happened to them. I'm guessing it's probably the death of his father, and they find themselves in Brooklyn. And he befriends a girl who's you know, in Brooklyn, and she has a father who runs a pizza shop. And I think the idea is that he is already proficient in martial arts, and he ends up teaching the father, the Italian father, kind of like a reverse mentorship, which is different. It's a change up for the series. I don't know if they'll keep that, but it kind of sounds like it because he's already the actor himself. Ben Wang is already proficient in martial arts, so he may be required to be somewhat of an expert in martial arts, and maybe that means he's going to be teaching this father figure. I don't know how you guys feel about that switch up. Um, but so the question is, in that version of the story did not have Daniel LaRusso or Mr. Han. So how are they incorporated into this, and how does this all fit with Cobra Kai? We don't know. You know, it'll be interesting to see how they fit everything together. Uh, you know, you'll notice that Lee, the character, is Chinese. You know, Ben Wang speaks fluent Mandarin. And so this is different, say, than the Karate Kid movies, which were based on, say, Mr. Miyagi's history and Okinawan heritage. So the question is, what is going on here? Because we're merging these two worlds, and I think the best option, or it seems like the option that fits, is in Karate Kid 2, when Mr. Miyagi talked about his ancestor Shimpo Sensei falling asleep off the coast of Okinawa and waking up off the coast of China. And he spent 10 years in China and came back with the secret to Miyagi's family karate. So I think that's the link between Okinawa and China, and possibly the link, this is interesting, between Daniel LaRusso and Mr. Han. What if Mr. Han is somehow related to or descended from Mr. Miyagi, or sorry, Shimpo Sensei, or maybe Shimpo Sensei's wife, maybe related to him. So it's almost like you have two lineages coming from the same place. That could be interesting. But of course, as everyone pointed out, Jackie Chan is mentioned and discussed between Daniel LaRusso and Tanner Buchanan in season one. The actor is discussed. And so Jackie Chan as Mr. Han is going to appear with Daniel LaRusso. So I think that'll be an interesting thing. Like, how do they get around that? Um, so I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Again, this is he looks to be a great actor. he's going to probably do a great job in this role. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Let's see. Okay, Jane has a great comment. So, okay, so Ryan says Rob Lieber is writing the screenplay. He's written a few things. Yes, so he's written Peter Rabbit. So definitely a veteran screenwriter. He may have a love for the Karate Kid movies as well. How you doing? Great to see you now off, if I'm pronouncing that right. Thanks for joining us. Terry Johnson says, they're merging the two universes together. How will they explain Jackie Chan existing in Cobra Kai? And I guess what the creators in, have, of Cobra Kai said is wrong. I guess they didn't have a choice in letting that happen. Right. So the creators of Cobra Kai have always said that Mr. Han does not exist in the Cobra Kai world. That's what they've said. I guess Sony maybe has decided differently. So I'm sure there are ways to deal with it. Probably, I'm thinking the best way to deal with it would be some sort of offhanded joke, like a quick laugh off. I'm sure there's like a fun, quick way to sort of dismiss that contradiction or wink at it. That's probably the best way to do it. So I don't know, something like Daniel LaRusso saying, "Hey, does anyone ever say you look like Jackie Chan?" And Mr. Han goes, "Who?" Something like that. Um, but yes, it's probably a choice from Sony. Um, Clifford says, "Let's see what he's made of." Indeed, yeah, bring it on. Terry Johnson says, "Then it can't be Daniel LaRusso since Daniel knows karate. I wonder who the Italian guy will be." Yeah, well, in the earlier script, he was a pizza shop owner. I don't know if that'll change. Pizza shop owner in Brooklyn. Terry Johnson says maybe the Italian guy is related to Daniel. It's possible. It's possible. Um, well, yeah, we'll see. It would make sense, right? Like that would, another cousin, maybe cousin Louis's brother or something like that. I don't know. Has problems. It's almost there, because obviously Daniel's family's from Newark, not too far to Brooklyn. It's possible. Um, Kate says, "Can you merge karate with kung fu? Is the Italian pizza shop owner going to be fighting off MS-13?" I don't know. I said this in the other discussion with Drew on DrewTube. My fear is that if it's an Italian guy with a pizza shop, that it's actually going to be the Italian mob that's trying to shake him down. Because what I'm trying to think, what would an adult pizza shop owner need to learn martial arts for? I don't know. It's an interesting question. So, I mean, a standard movie response would be, well, he's an Italian pizza shop owner, so it's going to be the Italian mob. He's going to have to defend himself from the mob. Well, we'll see. I don't know. It seems like maybe some kind of like criminal element or organized crime because, that type of bullying or the need to defend yourself physically as an adult, I think would come from criminal elements, as opposed to when you're a kid, everyone's immature and growing up and there's fighting and stuff like that. But when you're an adult, usually that stuff's kind of behind you, at least in Brooklyn. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Ryan says, "Strange coincidence. Hilary Swank is on CBS right now." Wow. I know she has a new movie coming out. And so, we can talk about this, guys, but who could appear in Cobra Kai season 6? Perhaps Hilary Swank. So how could she appear? That's kind of an interesting question, and maybe we'll get to that in just a little bit. Now I want a pizza. Heck yeah. Oh, it's always good to have pizza. Morgan says, "And why would Daniel be in Brooklyn?" Right. I think you're right. Like we had a comment earlier, it would make sense if there was some family issue. Maybe this pizza shop owner is having a problem and he's related to Daniel. So maybe he calls Daniel because he's having a problem and he needs help. And if this new karate kid that Ben Wang's playing, trains this pizza shop owner in martial arts, maybe Daniel comes out to help, and maybe they all take on the mob together. I don't know. It's an interesting question. Shin Batman 84 says, "Yes, there's styles that merge both karate and kung fu together." And if they go to that Shimpo Sensei connection, It's possible that the Miyagi-Do style could be Daniel could be very surprised at the similarities between Mr. Han's style and Miyagi-Do. There could be a lot of similarities because they're descendant from the same person. Uh, which could be cool. I think that could be cool. Let's see. Ryan says Mr. Han has a striking resemblance to that stunt actor. Right, exactly. I think probably that's the easiest way to kind of laugh off the apparent contradiction. Robana, great to see you, Robana, and thank you for being a channel member. Ness, still have an opinion that Cobra Kai was a good enough reboot. Not too sure how this movie will perform at the box office. You know, it's a really interesting question because it's been sort of inconsistent in terms of the performance of reboots, remakes, and sequels. There's so many reboots, there's so many sequels out there. You know, if you look at the release schedule, maybe we should do that sometime of the movies coming out this year, how many of them are franchise movies or sequels, reboots, all these things. And so I think sometimes people like it, like maybe if the movie's really good. Uh, for instance, even though right now it's not getting a theatrical release, Roadhouse is getting a remake. Okay. Which is interesting. It's like I saw the preview, and I know some people have some strong thoughts on it, but what I loved about the original Roadhouse is that it is just one of those amazing cheesy movies. It's like it just has just such a thick layer of cheese all over it, and you just got to keep watching it. It's like it's so ridiculous in all the best ways that you can't take your eyes off of it. And it's you could say it's bad, but I think it's just absolutely riveting cheesiness. It's awesome. So the question is with this new Roadhouse, are they making it into like a legitimate good movie? That could be the case. And so there could be two different flavors. And if it's really good, if it's very entertaining, it could do well. So this movie, though, we'll see. I think it'll depend on is it a good story? Does it make sense? Is it a just a cash grab? Is it an opportunistic venture to cash in on the popularity of Cobra Kai? It's possible. Um, Yeah, Shin Batman said maybe someone taking him for protection money. Right, so the mob. You know, we'll see. It's set in Brooklyn, guys. I'm I think it's probably gonna be Italian mob, Italian organized crime. Oh well. Talking Star Wars says if Dugan appears in season 6, how would you want him introduced? Great question. Also, Michael Ironside's birthday was a few days ago. Happy birthday, Michael Ironside. Man, we guys, we need to have a little Michael Ironside appreciation. He is some of you have been keeping up with movies and TV shows. He has been in lots of stuff recently. He's very active as an actor. He is an institution. No one I would say it's up there. In fact, I would say he's up there. It's like Martin Coves, Thomas Ian Griffith. Michael Ironside is one of the iconic movie villain actors of our time. And he played Colonel Dugan in Next Karate Kid. And he's exists in the Cobra Kai universe. And so the question is if he comes back, could he come back? Do you think he'd come back? Do you want him to come back? But how would he be introduced? Well, I'm glad you asked Talking Star Wars because some of you may have seen a video I did called "Does Terry Silver do Terry Silver and John Kreese know Colonel Dugan?" And I go into like all the different information we know, like that could lead to them knowing each other. Dugan was in the army. He was likely in Vietnam. We know that. He has an attitude that's very similar to Kreese. In fact, I would say if you look at Kreese's attitude in the Cobra Kai series, where he's like stuck mentally in the war, in the military, thinking of uh, children as soldiers, that is actually much more in line with Colonel Dugan in the next Karate Kid than it is with Kreese in the Karate Kid movies. Kreese in the Karate Kid movies, real like he was still a shadowy figure, but we got the sense that he was off mentally. He still had this very, I don't know, fundamentalistic view of good versus evil and enemies and stuff like that. But as far as like being stuck in like a war mentality, that's very much Colonel Dugan. And so you have that similarity, which is incredible. So also you'll notice, which is very interesting, go to the flashback in season 3 of John Kreese and Terry Silver in the POW camp in North Vietnam. Look at the fight that they observe, that Terry Silver observes, where and really affects him, where you have two soldiers fighting against each other over the pit of snakes. Um, and then there is a victor in that fight who comes back to the cage, and he looks absolutely traumatized and messed up. And he's the guy that Terry Silver asks, how deep is that pit, man? Look at how that character fought in that fight, and look at just his appearance and how he replies. That character, I suggest, could be Colonel Dugan. And something like that experience would mess up Colonel Dugan for his life. And if you watch the next Karate Kid, you'll have to agree this guy has major trauma problems. He has major PTSD problems. And so this incident over the pit of snakes, the pit of cobras, that could have done that to Colonel Dugan. So the question is, if that's true, and if Colonel Dugan does know John Kreese and Terry Silver, and if they had that very unique, horrible experience together, that might be someone who John Kreese calls, could be someone who Terry Silver calls. And I'm saying all this because I am just hoping that we have a scene that exists for all eternity with the actors Michael Ironside, Martin Kove, and Thomasine Griffith. I've said that 1,000 times, but I'm trying to will this into existence, guys. So we'll see. So anyway, there we go. Hopefully that answers your question. AEH says the new Karate Kid gets an event for action actors where he meets Ralph and Jackie and asks for their autograph. Ends of story. Okay, yeah. I mean, it's just so interesting how everything could be handled. Kate Maloney says Daniel is going to New Jersey to visit his mom and sees a gang rob a pizza shop, but the kid behind the counter has some mad, untamed skills. Jackie's the kid's uncle. Daniel's related to the shop owner. Yeah, that could be it. If you're going to get Mr. Han to come from China, if you're going to get Daniel LaRusso to come from LA, there has to be a strong reason. And I agree, family would be a strong reason if they're related. So that would be really something. DJ Club Rule says, "Hey Ken, great to be back on another KenCast Live." Well, it is great to have you here, DJ, and everyone else. Thank you for joining us. I always love talking with you guys. Jane says, "I feel like the connection between the new Karate Kid movie, Cobra Kai, is a bit tenuous." Yeah, I think a lot of people are sensing that too. One thing I'm going to say, guys, though, is let's give it a shot. Well, let's give the movie a shot. There are a lot of, we don't know all the details yet. We should keep an open mind. It's not every day that a new Karate Kid movie comes out. So let's keep an open mind about it. It could surprise us, and once there are trailers that come out and once we get a sense of the story, it could be intriguing. So we'll see. We'll see. Who knows? But we'll see. In the meantime, we've got to save Silver, guys. Oh yeah, everything tastes better coming out of Save Silver mug. Thank you all, by the way, for joining our cause, the Save Silver cause. It's very important. We've got to get Terry Silver out of prison, and I think we will. And remember, Terry Silver remembers everyone who's loyal to him. He really values that. So, it's never bad to be friends with Terry Silver. So let's support the guy. I think he's got big plans, and we should be along for the ride, I think. David Harris says, yeah, they did something similar in Antitrust where the main antagonist, Gary Winston, It's a very Bill Gates character. So they have a line in the movie to show that he's not Bill Gates. Interesting. Yeah, I'm sure they could do that with a line, and I'm sure it'll be addressed because it's a question everyone's having. Shin Batman says maybe Terry Silver survives the last season and wants the properties to himself. I know, wishful thinking on my part. No, it's not. I would I would hope Terry Silver would not die. I mean, he needs to. Terry Silver should be eternal. And in fact, if you watch a video, Terry Silver's not dying that I make the case that he's probably well positioned to have access to the latest gene therapies and life extending treatments. So, I mean, he's a billionaire. So I think Terry's going to be around for a long time. Matt K says, I'm quite surprised Ralph is doing this movie, to be honest. He seems very selective and was before he did Cobra Kai. Matt from Torquay in England. Well, Matt, thank you for joining us. Yes, I love your thought. I think it came as a surprise to all of us. And what I would say is maybe him being selective is a good sign, right? Because he wouldn't have said yes, perhaps, unless he thought it was good. So, that's something to keep in mind. So you do have both Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio. So you would think that they would both want to be part of a good movie. So maybe that's a good sign. Ralph Macchio himself, it's not like he hasn't done a movie in a long time and this is an opportunity to do a movie. He is headlining and producing this Cobra Kai show, which is very popular and has focused on the same character. So I would think that he doesn't need to do the movie. And so maybe it was just a really good opportunity and he liked where they were going with the story. So that's why I think maybe we should be open to it. Let's wait until we see trailers. Anything could happen, guys. Anything could happen. So oh wow, guys, we got a new member, Ryan. Ryan, thank you so much for being a new channel member. If anyone is a finalist and above channel member at the top of the hour, so in 20 minutes, we'll be doing a special video chat where we can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. So join us if for that, if you are a finalist and above member. Kate says maybe Colonel Dugan owns the pizza shop, but due to Agent Orange exposure, he can't teach the young martial arts protege. That's so funny. I know. Well, if you think about Colonel Dugan, as far as the Cobra Kai series, I always thought he could come in, and maybe he still could, as a school discipline security person, because that's what he was in the next Karate Kid, right? He ran the Alpha Elite that kept order in the school. They kept the school locked down, and he ran it like a military institution, right, to keep students in line. And with all the problems that the school's been having in the Cobra Kai series, you'd think that they'd want to bring in someone like Colonel Dugan with that experience, basically for the role that Stingray unsuccessfully interviewed for in season 2. But that would be the type of role that you could easily bring Colonel Dugan in if the school was serious about security and they've had just all these martial arts fights. That would be an easy way to bring him in. But again, I don't know. It'd be interesting if Michael Ironside would do it or has the desire to do it. Guys, it could be happening right now. The only thing I know for sure is that the writers and John, Josh, and Hayden, they are fully aware of not only every character that appears in all the Karate Kid movies, like even all the hidden characters, they're fully aware. All the characters that have one line, all the characters that have just been talked about. Because look, Kim Sun Young was just one line mentioned offhandedly by Terry Silver in Karate Kid 3. That's it. And now in season 6, he is going to be a fully fleshed out character with a granddaughter, Sensei Kim Daeun, right? Like, so that's kind of the level of depth they're thinking about this series. So we have to believe that Colonel Dugan is very much on their minds. There's a character named Dugan in the Obliterated series. I don't know if you guys watch the Obliterated series, but I thought that was funny that they actually named the character Dugan. So I have to believe it's because they've all been obsessing about the Miyagi verse for so long that these names kind of seep into everything, and maybe that's a little nod to that character. But it's possible. And I'm sure that they would jump at the chance to work with Michael Ironside if if it fits with the story. I'm trying to hype this, guys. I don't know if it's going to happen, but that's the exciting thing right now. It's filming now. We don't know what's going on really, aside from what they're telling us. And there's any possibility of what could happen. In fact, why don't I bring up this article because it might be fun to think about. This is Screen Rant, and Screen Rant does a lot of fun kind of think pieces. And let me close this ad. Apologize for that. See if we can close that. But 7 surprise Karate Kid reunions that could happen in Cobra Kai season 6. So let's go down and see like some surprise reunions that they think, and we'll see if you agree with this. Bobby Brown and Daniel LaRusso. Now, I love this, and we talked about this, I think, last week. Um, Bobby Brown, he apologized to Daniel profusely at the end of Karate Kid 1. And then obviously there was that confrontation in the parking lot at the beginning of Karate Kid 2. But it seemed like Bobby totally abandoned Cobra Kai and really redeemed himself. And he was an excellent fighter. In fact, I did a whole video saying that he actually could have won that tournament that year, except Kreese made him sabotage himself and get disqualified, which was really, really bad. But I think that Bobby could have been an amazing student of Mr. Miyagi. And, we've really never seen those two characters connect. And in interviews with with Ron, who plays Bobby, he he said that initially the idea that they were floating was that Bobby would be a student in the sequels along with Daniel. So it would be a really interesting, turn of events. I think if we got to see them talk to each other, I think they'd get along really well. Johnny Lawrence and Dutch. Okay, you guys remember Dutch from the original Karate Kid movie? I know you do because everyone requests this. This is like the number one request for an appearance of a legacy character. And in the past, this has been off the table because Chad McQueen's daughter, I believe, who runs his official Instagram page, made a post saying that they really appreciate all the fans and their love for Dutch and Chad McQueen, but Chad McQueen will not be appearing in the Cobra Kai series. There was an Instagram post to that effect, and we were all like, oh, that's too bad. But one of the people commenting, said, and I'm sorry, remind me if you're in the chat right now, if you brought my attention to this, that if you look at Chad McQueen's Instagram page right now, that post is gone. And I haven't been able to find it. So it's entirely possible, guys, that who knows? People can change their minds. Let's see. I'm looking at it again right now. Let me know if you see it. But I am looking for. Yeah, I don't see it anymore. But let me know if you guys can see it. But so there might be some kind of slim possibility we could get Dutch in season 6, which would be absolutely amazing. Jessica Andrews and Mike Barnes. So I one of the things about season 5 that I thought was incredible was that we got Jessica Andrews back, and she was able to warn Amanda about Terry Silver. And of course, Robin Lively is just incredible. Always has been incredible, and she just did such a great job as Jessica Andrews again in Cobra Kai season 5. But the thing is, she really never got to interact with any of the characters she interacted with in Karate Kid 3. She didn't get to interact with Daniel LaRusso, Mike Barnes, or Terry Silver. She also interacted with Snake and Dennis. So that would be amazing to see this character reunited with those. What would Jessica Andrews and Mike Barnes talk about? Because Mike Barnes famously kicked her in the stomach, which was really kind of a bad move. And he's supposedly reformed now. So would he apologize? Would they get along? I don't know. So I think that would be really an interesting reunion. Oh, look at that. Look at, is this a tease? Look at this. This was from a year ago. I totally missed this. Wow. Okay, so it could be a tease. Look at that. Could people have theorized that Mike Barnes' wife? No, it's but it's not because she's still living in Ohio. So, but I think that's kind of a fun. That would be a fun reunion. Okay, so Mike Barnes and John Kreese. Yeah, Terry Silver wasn't Mike's only villain as Sensei in Karate Kid 3. And, I've talked about this, guys. Like, could Mike Barnes be tied in with either Kim Da-eun or John Kreese? Or will he be in season 6? Because, it's possible that John Kreese would be much more sympathetic to Mike Barnes, would respect Mike Barnes, and if Kreese needs some muscle going into season 6, he might call up Mike Barnes, who would have an axe to grind against Terry Silver. So, I think that's interesting. Chosen Taguchi and Toshio. Wow. Yeah, what do you guys think? I mean, it's tough because Toshio, who I think is the character wearing the baseball cap, he was very mean and villainous in Karate Kid 2, but we really didn't get to know him as a character much. I wonder what happened to him. Did he stay a villain? Did when Chosen became good and became redeemed, did Toshio lose interest? Unknown. We don't know much about him, but that could be fun. I will say this: I wouldn't be surprised if we do get a wedding, as some people have suggested, between Kumiko and Chosen, or perhaps I've suggested a double wedding with Kumiko Chosen and Johnny and Carmen at the end of season 6. That would make sense. That would be a time when Toshio would show up, I think, and maybe he's reformed his ways and everything. So that's really fun. Daniel LaRusso and Dennis. Now, guys, this is interesting because the question is Snake and Dennis, right? Snake and Dennis obviously were a team in Cobra Kai. I mean, I'm sorry, Karate Kid 3, and a lot of people have been anticipating Snake and Dennis returning in the Cobra Kai series at some point. That hasn't happened yet. We know from talking to William Christopher Ford on this channel, he's a great friend to the channel, that Jonathan Alvidson, who plays Dennis, he's been kind of MIA for a long time. Like no one can find him. No one knows exactly where he is. So the question is, could they find him to come back and play Snake one more time in the Cobra Kai series? But if they can't find him, would they bring just Dennis back? When I don't know how you guys feel. Like, I think it would be cool, like if they could find a way, like some kind of story reason to bring Dennis back, because he was skilled, kind of like intimidating. Obviously, William Christopher Ford is a master martial artist in real life. Um, like I would think that would be cool, but I'm wondering if the suggestion, if the author is aware that maybe Jonathan Alvidson is missing, um, because then that would make sense. So I don't know, guys. This is I think maybe less of a slam dunk if you can't get both Snake and Dennis together. And but yeah, I'd love to see it. 100%, I'd love to see Dennis back. Yeah, it would be a cool reunion to see what would happen between these guys. Okay, so and Master Lee and Mr. Han. Yeah. Yeah, whatever. No, I'm sorry. I'm not like the biggest fan of the Karate Kid remake, and maybe we can actually review it again. Like I talked about doing another special with the Lastro podcast, Drew and Badway, maybe going into this movie and analyzing it and seeing, do we like it? 'Cause it's been a while since I haven't seen it since it come out, but maybe I need to take a look at it again. It's a very well produced movie, but the characters in it didn't stay with me. Strangely, not even as much as in the next Karate Kid. Like I really remember Colonel Dugan more than Master Lee. Like Master Lee, I think did a good job. He was intimidating and stuff, but the character seemed a bit more generic, right? Because he's essentially John Kreese. He's sort of a Chinese John Kreese, and so he's playing the same role again, and I think the actor does a great job, and yeah, I guess it'd be cool to see him again, but I don't know. Maybe that's too much an ask. Um, and I don't know if Mr. Han would appear in Cobra Kai season 6 anyway. People have been talking about that, but I don't know what you guys think. But I think Jackie Chan would appear in Cobra Kai season 6 if Sony basically mandated it. That's just my opinion. I think they probably won't get into Mr. Han in season 6. Um, Hello, James. Thanks for joining us today. Matt Moore says, "What would the new Terry Silver look and be like?" That's interesting. You mean like the Terry Silver out of jail? If I were him, I would go back to the whole keep the ponytail, but go into like the amazing like ascot wearing phase, like tuxes and because he had that sort of villainous phase in Cobra Kai season 5, but I think he should just come back as like the just intimidating billionaire mogul look, like ultra class. You know, I think we've got to get an ascot in there. That's just me. Um, let's see. Jane says, "Would that be just a cameo then, Ken?" Um, let me see. Let me know, Jane, which character you mean. Let's see, Jane. That's a good point there, Ken. Just gotta wait to see what the final version is. Oh, okay, good. So we covered it. That's great. Let's see what's going on. Uh, Matt Moore says, I mean, who in Borneo even knows what chloride sludge is? I know. Wouldn't it be fun for him to go back to the toxic waste disposal? Wouldn't that be great? DJ Club Rule says, I'm going to give this new Karate Kid movie a chance. Hopefully it doesn't flop. Yeah, I mean, they still have to produce it. Maybe 2024, maybe there's a lot of good energy in 2024 towards this franchise, towards the Miyagi verse, and maybe things will come together. I remember, there weren't as many people back before the release of Cobra Kai season 1 who had that series on its on their radar, but I do remember some comments about is this, I don't know, does this look good? Does this even look good? In fact, we could probably pull that up on the internet, when the first trailers came out for the Cobra Kai series. I think the response was kind of mixed, and it's like, is this going to be any good? Like, or is anyone going to watch this? So let's see. Let's see what happens. They could release a teaser trailer and we could all go, "Oh, that's interesting." Or maybe we don't like it. But yeah, let's give the movie a chance. Why not? Let's do it. Um Shin Batman says, I just want to see Mr. Han versus Terry Silver, my dream fight. Now that would be incredible, wouldn't it? That actually would be incredible. Thomas Ian Griffith and Jackie Chan fighting in the same scene. Wouldn't that? And what if Terry Silver could keep up with Mr. Han? Wow, that would be great. Robana says, I said this before, but maybe it's just a cameo. I do remember that they did that with Jared and the reboot of Gilmore Girls. Oh, okay. It was heavily advertised and it turned out to be just one brief scene. It's possible. It could be just a cameo. I think I would be disappointed because the first announcement of this movie with them, Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio, they said that they were starring in the new movie. And so I think that would be a huge bait and switch if it's just a cameo. I'm going to guess it's going to be a little more than a cameo. They're not going to be the main characters of the movie, but it's possible that they're in there for their, let's say, reasonable supporting roles. Let's say that. I would think so because would maybe Ralph Macchio would just do a cameo because he's so busy with Cobra Kai season 6, but I don't know if I would. I don't know if Jackie Chan would just be a cameo in a movie. You would think that he would want a substantial part if he were going to be involved. But I don't know. That's just me. Um, Kate says, I'm not saying I'd sell my soul to have Pat Morita here, but I would be in some serious negotiations. Wouldn't that be wonderful if Pat Morita were still around? If he could participate in all this resurgence of the Miyagi verse? I mean, named after his character, right? Would love to see Bobby again. I honestly, been so much story going on with this series. I understand, but at the same time, I would have loved at this point for Johnny, especially. He's had so much trouble with Kreese taking over Cobra Kai. I would have loved to see Bobby's reaction to John Kreese and what he's up to. And, because they kind of warned Johnny about John Kreese, right? Remember in season 2, but um, you know, John Kreese taking over and being horrible, taking over what Johnny's been doing, fighting Johnny. You've got this new friend of Kreese, Terry Silver. It would be interesting to hear Bobby's perspective on all that and see what Bobby would do. I I think. But I mean, there's only so much time. Um, maybe we'll get that in season 6. Javier, thanks for joining us. The new Karate Kid will be on December 13th. That's my birthday. Well, happy birthday. You know what? That's great. You guys should go celebrate by going to see the movie. It's very rare. I mean, what was it? 1994 was the last time we've had. No. I'm sorry, 2010, the last Karate Kid movie, the remake. I'm sorry, that does count, right? So Rabana says Bobby was supposed to be Miyagi's student in Karate Kid 2, but that idea got scrapped. Right. That's he did say that, and I haven't found. I've been trying to do research on Karate Kid 2. I haven't found a version of the script or story outline with Bobby in it yet, but maybe it's got to be out there because obviously Ron Thomas has said that. Like his agent told him that. Um, and Ryan says, "Too bad Chad McQueen couldn't come back." Yeah, mommy not here to dress you. Yeah, he was great. Shin Batman says, "Yeah, Chad has moved on from acting, happier being involved in other work that's paid him very well." Yeah, we'll see, guys. I think anything's possible. Dutch. I feel like if they bring back Dutch, they'll leave it a total surprise because that's been one of the biggest asks of the series. I here's what I know just from talking with them and meeting with them. John, Josh, and Hayden are as much, if not bigger fans than any of us. They love these characters. They've seen these movies so many times before they made the series. And I think they would be, if they could somehow get Chad McQueen to be on Cobra Kai, uh, they would. They do anything, I think. So if he's not in the series, it will be, I think, just because Chad McQueen hasn't changed his mind and doesn't want to be part of it. DJ Club Rule says, I want to see Mike go against Snake and Dennis in a fight in season 6. Wouldn't that be fun? There are just so many amazing possibilities. It's interesting though, Snake, if you look at him in Karate Kid 3, he's not that great a fighter. He got taken down by a bowl of mac and cheese to the stomach from Jessica. So Jessica actually defeated Snake in Karate Kid 3. So man, that would be funny if maybe there's a rematch and Snake goes up against Jessica Andrews in Cobra Kai season 6. Who knows? Kate says, I'm a diehard Daniel and Kumiko shipper. So the only way she could marry Chosen is if Chosen gets Daniel's blessing. Interesting. I know because when they brought back Kumiko in season 3, it's almost like she was kind of flirting with him a bit. Like there was that tension there. So yeah, I'll be interested to see how they handle that going forward. But it seems like Daniel's all on board with Chosen being with Kumiko. So hopefully they find happiness together. Let's see. Kate also says, if you forget the remake's link to the original and tighten it up to remove 20 minutes, the 2010 movie wasn't too bad. Yeah, it's like one of those things where, I don't want to be too unfair. I need to see it again. Let's do that. I'm going to watch it again. I'll bring in Drew and Badway, and we will have a deep conversation about the remake and if we like it and if we don't like it and if it's a good movie. Everything I remember from it is it looked great. It was really well produced. It had Jackie Chan, but there was just something off about it. Like, it almost seemed like those kids were too young. Um, like the antagonist to Jaden Smith to be upset about a girl, it just seemed a bit young. Like those conflicts that happen in the original Karate Kid, those make sense as like high school problems. And it just seemed like those kids in the Karate Kid remake, they were more like junior high. And it was just, I don't know, they maybe seemed a bit young. And then I remember because they were young, when Mr. Han fought them, it just seemed so silly to have this overpowering karate master, kung fu master, fighting these little kids. It just looked weird. Like in the original, it makes sense where you have Pat Morita, who's small compared to these towering high school skeletons, that looked like, these young kids who could fight could beat up this old man. And it was a complete surprise. You had never seen Mr. Miyagi fight before. And so that made sense. But yeah, in the remake, it just seemed weird to me that Mr. Han was kind of taller than these kids and he was fighting them and beating them up. I don't know. It's weird. And then Mr. Han, like his whole, I'm trying to remember, there was something where he like kept the wreckage of the car that killed his wife and kid like in his room, and every year on the anniversary he would like drink and go crazy and smash the car, and like just really bizarre. Like that was really weird. Anyway, we'll get into that in a review. Um let's see. Let's see. Robana says, I'll go with the theory that Snake is actually Terry Silver's son. Yeah, that I will say that's something that has appeared online. And I read that. However, I can confirm that was never the intention of the character. But it could be up to us to interpret that. Hayden Schlossberg, co-creator on KenCast, actually, we were fortunate enough to have him on. His opinion was that Snake was Terry Silver's dealer, like his drug dealer, right? Because we know Terry was into all kinds of substances like cocaine and everything, and that Snake was the bad boy. And if you want to be a bad boy in LA, Snake's the boy to be bad with. So maybe Snake was the source of pharmaceuticals and things like that. But it's fun. Snake being the son of Terry Silver, maybe so. Don Power Ranger says, let's get physical media right. Hello, Ken and all. Hope everyone's well this afternoon. Hey, great to see you guys. Tig Terry Silver rocks. Great to see you. And guys, I am over right now. We are going to switch the discussion over to a live stream with finalist members and above. We'll continue the discussion. So if you're a finalist and above, you'll have access to it on my channel. Everyone else, I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you for joining us today. If you just got into the chat or you're watching on the replay, please leave a comment below the video so we can see. It's a permanent comment. We'll see it forever. And if you enjoyed this today, go ahead and hit subscribe, like, and the notification bell so you don't miss anything going forward. Thank you all for watching KenCast, and I look forward to seeing you next week, or maybe another time if some news pops up.